Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Cup of Joe with Joe and Joe podcast. I am your host, Joe, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Joe.
A lot of bloodshed in this one, boys. A lot of bloodshed.
This is bloody good fun. That's all, folks. All right, we'll see you next time. Podcast
Too
is over.
soon, man. Boy. Oh, boy. Joe, I have a better dad joke. Better one.
Better dad joke?
Oh, yeah. So me and my dad were driving somewhere, and
This involved an actual dad, too. All right.
yeah, but I said the joke. And
Okay.
there was a sign that said, like, Pines Creek. And then you looked over, and it was just like a apartment development. And my dad's like, I don't see any creek over there. And I go, yeah, just a lot of concrete.
You know, some part of me foolhardily thought this was tangentially related to Attack on Titan, and then
No,
I was like, oh, no.
No, not at all.
Anyway, let's get into what we're actually here to talk about. Attack on Titan, episode 85. Full spoilers, here we go. This episode is titled Traitor, and it's just like, it's just one of those long suspense scenes, really, is the entirety of it. It's like your opening to Inglourious Bastards, your second example here, but it's just, you know something's going to happen. Connie and Armin are in there. They're trying to secure the flying boat because they need to get it from the Jaegerists, and pretty much everyone kind of knows, like, you guys are, like, traitors, though, right? And they're like, no, it's fine. We're totally on your guys' side. And then bullets start flying, and everyone's like, oh shit, here we go again.
Yeah, not for a second did I think the original plan was gonna work. I'm like, there is no way.
Absolutely not.
I'm like, this is so stupid. I'm like, Flock is a paranoid dictator. You think he's just gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna believe Connie and them. Let's just roll with this. Like, hell no. Like, there was no way that shit was gonna work.
Yeah, absolutely not. And one part of me was very happy that it didn't work, because I love myself a good action scene. And also, we get rewarded by seeing, for the first time, Mappa doing, not the first time, technically, we saw it back in part 1 in the flashback, whatever. But for the first time, we see present-day Annie turn into the female Titan. And I gotta say, looks great. I'm just I fucking love the way it looks.
Her and Reiner, when they do the crossover and it hits Flock, like, oh shit, like, are they really gonna? And then they transform. I was like, oh my god, I'm like, it's so fucking good to see Annie and see them back to back. Like, oh, so fucking cool. And yeah, her and just seeing the kick that she does where she takes out like 3 of the Jaegers. I'm like, oh, I missed Annie. I love her.
Annie is possibly the most adept Titan shifter out of the entire group. Like, and I think they said that when they were doing the whole X-Men Origins backstory back in part 1 of the final season, where they're flipping through and they're like, you know, the Colossal Titan's a nuke, the Car Titan's good for transportation. Female Titan, just versatile. What's she good at? Everything.
Jiu-jitsu, karate, hand-to-hand combat. Like, she is literally like it's like a more sleeker version of the Attack Titan. Like, she's more speed and tactile and just, while Aaron's more just power. It was so cool seeing her. I was like, oh my god, like, is this really gonna happen? So that was definitely the high for me.
Yes. Which is then followed by a very low, but we'll get there in due course. But going back to some of the other stuff that happened a little bit earlier on, which really isn't a whole lot.
No,
you get
not a lot.
You get some scenes of whatchamacallit. Magath is, interrogating Yelena and breaks her arm, which that entire time I was just like, no, don't do it. Please, don't. And I didn't like the way it snapped.
There goes the humorous.
Yeah, exactly. And the entire time that he was yelling at her, like, you gotta, talk to me, say something. I'm like, dude, you're fucking, you're holding her at the mouth. That's where she speak. She can't speak if you're holding her mouth.
But it didn't want her to scream and give away her positioning.
True, But the entire time I was just like, you're an asshole. Which rightfully, after he does that, he notices Gabby watched the entire fucking thing. And after the therapy session of last episode, he's kind of just like, maybe I shouldn't be like this. And he kind of, he apologizes to pretty much everyone. Yep. He's just like, everything is fucked up. Doesn't give us any right to keep fucking other people's shit up. I'm a bow and I'm a ask that you stay out of this if you want to. And then I love Armin's response, and he's like, I will not sit by with clean hands. And I'm just like, ooh.
Very good writing.
Ooh, yeah. This is like we were talking about beforehand, where it was the guest writers were on like some of those episodes. Like, no. Main writer is back on this one, baby.
Big time.
Yeah, and so then, of course, we have the whatever the fuck where Connie and Armin go in and they're shouting at Flock. They're just being like, hey, give us the flying boat, because we need the flying boat to go catch the cart and Armor Titan. And the Flock's like, no, I don't believe it. He kind of believes them, but at the same time,
for
he's
like half a second.
Yeah, he's like, no. And then, of course, fucking he's about to shoot some of the technicians because they need them to turn on the flying boat, as they keep calling it. It's just a plane. I think we saw it in like the split thing where after in like the middle of the show,
it's a plane.
And they had the black and white. It's just a fucking plane. I'm just like, oh, I guess that's what it is.
They haven't invented that word yet.
They haven't invented the word for plane yet. But they have blimps and shit. Anyway, Mikasa bursts in, and of course, Mikasa is just one of the most badass of the badasses, and fucking full-on palms a dude's pistol into his face. I was like, yep, that tracks. And
she can do that to me.
Moving on. Flock is as annoying as ever, just being a whiny asshole. But I will concur the moment when the two Titan, Annie and Reiner, fly out behind him and they transform, and just seeing his face, just being like, oh shit. It's so gratifying just watching him kind of like shoot himself for a second, because he's like, oh, this might be a little bit more than I bargained for.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, definitely the high of this episode is seeing that, because, I mean, as further established, like, Joe and I hate Flock. Like, he's just so damn annoying. Like, and he's definitely made to be that way, but, oh, it's like, can he just be dead already? And yeah, when Mikasa comes in and saves the leader of the Azumabito, whatever her name is, I was really, like, they start hunkering down in the basement, and at first I was like, oh shit, is Armin gonna go boom? Is that's what's about to happen here? And this is like the nuke basement? And I realized that no, that couldn't happen, because then he'd destroy the boat. But I'm like, oh, it's probably just so Annie and Reiner can just wreak havoc, and there's no chance of like Mikasa and them getting injured. But really, yeah, the whole stuff with Mikasa, Jean, Orjan, and Flock isn't too crazy. It's kind of just like, oh, surprise, we're here, motherfucker. Really, I guess the quote-unquote meat of this episode is with Armin and Connie and the two other scouts, or the two other Jaegerists that are, they have bombs on this plane. I'm not calling it a flying boat. That's just fucking ridiculous.
Canonically, it's a flying boat.
Canonically,
it's a plane.
That's where all the meat is. And, yeah, it's just this long, dragged out altercation, intense moment. And I understand the importance of it, like why it was made such a big deal. But I felt like it was kind of dragged out a little too long. I don't know if you agree with me.
Yeah, I enjoyed it in the sense of, like, it really makes you feel...
It hits. Yeah, it does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, but, again, thinking in more broader strokes as to, like, the entirety of the final season that we're in right now, it kind of just felt like they were dragging on a little bit more. And again, I don't know, do we have 2 or 3 episodes remaining? I can't remember.
I think it's 3. And that was the big thing I wanted to talk about in this this podcast for this episode, is like, okay, it's a good episode, right? It's a good episode. We're in that kind of like that connective tissue phase, like you call it, but come on, you got to start speeding it up. It's been too slow for too long, and you're getting me nervous. Like 3 episodes left, and you're supposed to wrap this up, and you're just casually saying that, oh yeah, the Titans probably have already arrived at Marley. Like that was the whole steam crossing that they saw on the sea, and I'm like, come on, like you got to show us what's going on over there. Like I'm a little nervous. 3 episodes isn't enough.
Yeah, I definitely feel that as well. And speaking to the what Hanji said about the steam crossing the ocean, how they've already made landfall, I sincerely hope we actually get to see the rumbling make land. Like I hope it's not like, our ragtag group of
It's not
fuckers
an
get into the
off-screen
plane.
fight.
Exactly. It's like they get in the plane, they fly over to Marley, and then they just fly over and they see the carnage the rumbling has wrought. It's like I don't want it to have been like an imply. I mean, it's kind of fucked up, but at the same time, it's like you've shown fucked up shit, and that's the entire point is to show the horror of what Eren is doing. So it's like I kind of want to see the rumbling hit them. I wouldn't even mind if one of these like final 3 episodes is just from the perspective of say like Annie's father or other people in Marley that we've gotten to know over the course of this last season, and then seeing the horror as now it's completely flipped from the beginning of the first season with the Colossal and the Armored Titan wreaking havoc on the Paradise Walls and like killing Aaron's family, to then Aaron doing the exact same thing to Marley, just on a much larger scale. So it's like I want to see something like that, and I'm going to be very peeved if they don't do something like that. But yeah, I am growing increasingly concerned about how they are actually going to wrap this up in 3 episodes, or if they are going to push it off to a movie or another part or whatever the fuck they're going to end up doing.
Yeah, I know he said a couple episodes we were betting like how much percentage we would put on a movie happening. It after this episode skyrocketed that there's a chance of it happening. Like I just don't see how they finish it. Again, I don't know what the manga is. People who have read the manga might be like, no, you only got a little bit left, like, and they could do it. But then again, if there's only a little bit left, I'm like, what the fuck? It doesn't feel like there should be only a little bit left.
Yeah, no, it feels like there should be another arc or
Another at
almost,
least like 6 episodes, not 3. So yeah, a little nervous about that. But just to kind of touch on what happened with the whole Connie Armin boat scene, obviously now these two Jaegerists have to do their job, and they're like, oh my god, why do we have to fight you guys? Like, why did it come to this? And freaking Armin gets shot in the face, and you see his broken teeth, which is disgusting. He literally looks like a zombie. And I again at that moment I'm like, oh my god, is he gonna nuke mode? For some reason it was still in the back of my mind, and even though it wouldn't make sense.
That never left my mind either. The entire time I was just like, is he gonna have to transform to heal
in order to save himself?
Yeah.
But yeah, that the emotional scene was with Connie, and how it's kind of like he's arguing with this other Jaegerist, just being like, aren't we friends? Like the Jaegerist is yelling like, I thought you were our friends, you traitor. And like Connie just it doesn't have time to explain what's going on, and it's like, we are friends. And it's definitely it you feel that twinge in your heart, like, oh shit, like this sucks. And the emotion when Connie finally kills them and is crying at the end, and that's how the episode ends. Yeah, it hurt. I was like, oh, poor Connie. Like the guy's been through so much, especially these past couple episodes with the whole thing with his mom. Like he mentally is just gone, and then having to kill your former comrades, I can't imagine. So. Yeah, again, important stuff there with Connie, but it's like, okay, there are a lot other things at the top of my list that I want to see happening right now, and this episode didn't really touch any of them.
Yeah, it feels like it's a good episode for like this connecting arc thing. I feel like it hits a crescendo for a lot of really interesting things. Like it finally has not the Aegis, the Mikasa, Jean, and Armin, like the Paradise Islanders are now cohesively working together with the Marley soldiers. You have kind of like the completion of a horribly tragic arc for Connie, where he went off to go feed Falco to his mom, and then like the entire after that confrontation, he's like, I want to be a soldier that saves people. And then he goes and has to do this.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fuck, dude. And again, just to touch on the ending of this episode where it's Connie screaming because he's just had to kill his two friends because Armin won't. Armin very much is like Reiner. Like, he basically has a death wish. He's just like, if you kill me, I guess I can rest. That's kind of like the vibes that I'm getting off of him when he had the gun right on his head. But the way the episode ends, it's not like Connie screams and then it pans up and then like the screaming stops and then it cuts to black. It's like Connie is screaming. We are focusing on him and Armin. And then mid scream, it just cuts to black. And you're just like, oh, that's despair. Okay, that's what you want us to be feeling right now going into these final 3 episodes. So, again, I don't know how they're going to handle these final 3 episodes, but because they seem to like to work in 4-episode chunks for a lot of things. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was the descent now. You know, we're getting out of this connective era where it's a bit more levity. We're kind of like breathing for a little bit. Now it's like the end of this episode. It hits you with that real low note. And then these next 3 episodes, I'm hoping, are going to be really delving into more so Aaron and his relationship with other people and what he's doing and how it's affecting other. Like, I want to see the consequences of the rumbling and how they're either going to stop or fail to stop the rumbling. It's like, this is the stuff that I care about. I love Connie, like, he's cool and all, but he's not. I never watched Attack on Titan for Connie.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, there's a list of things that I'm looking forward to with these last couple of episodes, and the stuff that happened in this episode was on the list, but it was nowhere near the top. And you really need to get to that, knock off some of those things at the top of the list before you wrap up this whole show. And yeah, if we don't see Aaron next episode, like figure out what's happening or get a view in Marley, I'm really nervous, like super nervous actually. So I don't know. Fingers crossed. I'd say morale right now and I know the ending of this show is all controversial. Everybody's been talking about it. I don't know what it is, but I would say right now, this is probably the most nervous I've ever been for if this show is going to have a good ending or not. Pretty much all throughout, I'm like, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. But for some reason with this episode, I'm like, I thought we would have hit the big stuff, or at least start hitting it. Like, oh shit, what's going to happen? So that's where I'm at. Morale's a little low, but I feel bad saying that, even though it was a decent episode.
Yeah, again, it's a decent episode. It's still a fantastic show. We're just a little nervous we're gonna get blue balled again, or it's gonna just fucking drop the ball. I don't think it's gonna drop the ball. I highly doubt they would do something like that with a property this massive. But dude, I really just don't want it to be like and you gotta wait another year. And I'm just
swear,
like, come on, dude.
If they pull an original Ava, I will. You don't want to know what I'll do. It's I will actually call the police force and make something happen, because I can't handle going through something like that. So,
dude, the ending of Ava, just a fucking clip show. Next episode, it's called a retrospective.
Oh god.
Oh
god.
I don't think it's going to be a cliff show, but that would be fucking hilarious. Anyway, do you have anything else to add to this?
No. A little nervous, but I mean, it's Attack on Titan. When aren't you nervous?
Very, very true. All right, everyone. So, let us know what you think of Attack on Titan episode 85. Let us know what you think of the final season thus far. Let us know what you believe the percentage is of there either being a third part or another final season, the real final season, or a final movie or whatever the fuck it's going to be in the comments down below. Yeah, and thank you for listening to these two idiots ramble on about big men and women punching the shit out of each other. All right, that's going to do it from us. We'll love you, we'll leave you, and goodbye.